Thank you so much, Sue. And it's just so lovely to be here again with colleagues. So I'm just really delighted to be sharing this opportunity to talk to you with Lindsey, Rose, and obviously Natasha as well. And it's really special for me because Birmingham City University is where I studied to become a midwife. So seeing all the lovely pictures there on Natasha's presentation was really, really lovely. And like you said, Sue, we have been working together to develop a webinar series for professionals that just reflecting back on the annual framework and support for professionals who want to strengthen their practice. It's really wonderful to provide opportunities, but I know Natasha also runs from Birmingham City University an annual conference. And we're going to be finding out a little bit more about the examination of the newborn app that Lindsey's prepared. So we're going to just share with you tonight some insights from our examination of the newborn webinar series. The series focused in on the screening aspects of the examination, this important examination, so that we could really help people to update their skills and knowledge around those 4 components of the screening that's required across NHS England. And we know around even the United Kingdom, there can be small variations in expectations and requirements, but then around the world, there are lots of differences. So actually, it was really good to bring people together to have some of those critical conversations. And so it was so lovely that you joined us as well. For that. So we just want to give a warm welcome and bring people into thinking about the people that we're caring for. And Sue, you mentioned this at the beginning, that we really want our newborns to get the most wonderful support and that holistic care right from the beginning of their life. And that obviously involves caring for the whole family together. We want to give you a bit of an introduction to the series that we've developed and invite you to consider attending future events that we'll be hosting this year. It was a real opportunity to come together and think about all the connections and care that families require to really get things off to a good start. And I really love Niles Bergman, the work that he's done for neonatal care, and really just helping us to think about, that babies, when they're born, are sentient, learning and expectant of love, nourishment, nurturing relationships. And these examinations of the newborn offer an opportunity for us to communicate with the family all about their baby's capacity and abilities, and to also pick out areas of concern that can be addressed really quickly so that they can go into meaningful programs of support. So we wanted to use that as an ethos to the program that we developed, to think about connections and care and thinking about that whole family approach. So I know we've heard about Lindsey already, but for the webinar series, it was important that it was curated by somebody that was an expert in providing that education and also support to clinicians and practitioners. So it's really wonderful that the whole series was curated by Lindsey, who's doing a lot of work as well with international recruited midwives in the east of England. But also Lindsey brought together a full team of experts in their own particular areas of the screening, including Natasha, who's got expertise in delivering programs to undergraduate students and understanding the ways in which we can support. And we've heard about Natasha's expertise and experience and her team as well from BCU. So it's really wonderful to have consultant ophthalmologists, cardiologists, neonatologists, that were all attending, and some really senior midwives that have been working clinically to provide this support to families and babies. So overall, the aim of the programme was to offer a space for practitioners to think about and consider and review their own practice, reflect on the things that were impacting on this area of our practice, and to offer the support needed to really refresh knowledge and skills. For some people, as we know, they may have completed their education and programme of study around examination of the newborn some years ago. So it's really important, as we heard in the framework, to come back and think about those updates, and having experts in these areas, neonatology, coming to talk to us really helps to look out for any new information that we can use in our everyday practice to support babies and families. So, it's just remembering that we want to keep all families at the heart of the care that we provide, and the whole framework across each of the weeks was really centred on the families. So in terms of what happened with our very first webinar series last year, the latter end of last year, we actually welcomed 80 participants from around the world. And it was really amazing to see that we had participants from New Zealand, Ireland, and parts of Europe, as well as many participants from across England and the United Kingdom. It was good to hear that the participants that attended, with it being our first series, were 100% satisfied. And we did like a little Likert scale for each of the sessions between 1 and 5, and on average the response was 4.6, which I thought was really excellent, between very good and excellent for every speaker, which was really nice to hear that feedback from participants, with all of them being satisfied. And here's some of the feedback that was given. So it's really nice to hear that the pitch was right across the webinars. And we had educators joining us for their own refresher and updates, and they found the space spot on, with a good depth of detail in the question and answers, with a really relaxed chat function, informative and sharing real life examples. And the whole series was excellent for me, from a midwife in Ireland. Even though that NIPE wasn't a requirement in their position, they were taking the exam so that they could support and strengthen their care for home birth. People enjoyed the presentation styles because it kept their interest and focus. And people enjoyed the learning, which is good to hear, and that the resources that we shared. And they were really excited to access the NIPE app that was included within that webinar resource. So really enjoyed it, and they enjoyed the wealth of information, even from around the world, which was really nice to see. So what did people actually get with the webinar series? They had 6 sessions. They joined in for an overview and an update on the standards themselves, and why it's so important that we conduct this important screening test for families so that we can care for babies effectively. Then we looked at quality education, invited Natasha to come and talk to us. And then we looked at those 4 screening aspects in particular. So we started with the neonatal hips, then looked at the neonatal testes screen, neonatal eyes, and then the neonatal heart, like I said, with lots of specialist speakers. So when you came to each of these webinars, you had an opportunity to listen to a presentation from a specialist, and then there was plenty of time for questions and answers, and then a clinical and practice discussion where we picked out case studies to review, and people shared experiences from their own clinical practice so that they could ask questions of a specialist whilst they were there. We wanted to optimise the learning for those participants by including webinar recordings, ebooks and Padlets. So it was all run via Eventbrite, so you could book on and then run through Zoom, their webinars function. And everybody got an interactive ebook that they could use for their series, which included articles from the practicing midwife that had been written by Natasha and her team from BCU, all about and updating on those components of the examination of the newborn, the screening components, just to add to the webinar content. And all of the resources were included on an examination of the newborn Padlet, a resource that could be accessed with recordings of the webinars if you were unable to make them live. So really lots of resources. And finally, all participants were able to get access to the new examination of the newborn NIPE app. So I'm going to hand over now to Lindsey, who's going to introduce this app for you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Anna. Yes, it's been a really good experience working with Anna. I really enjoyed it, and I think we're looking forward to the next one. And this is the what you'll see on your, if you go to the App Store and you want to buy the app, that little, well, I think it looks a bit like a jelly baby actually, but that's what you need to look out for. And it says NIPE textbook in a pocket on it. So if you want to move on, Anna. So the app has been designed as a sort of interactive resource for all healthcare practitioners and students to use in the workplace to support them doing NIPE examinations. It will always have evidence-based information on it. So, for example, at the moment, the NIPE heart standard is being updated. And what that means is once the update comes out, I'm able to just put everything relevant to that up on the into the app, and you'll just get an update to do, and it keeps it current. We can continually keep adding pictures and videos all the time. And if you wanted to have a look at the app, there's this sort of a small example of what you might be able to get available to you just for free. But if you wanted to get the full app, it's available on Apple and the Google App Stores for $15.99. So if you think about it, you buy a book for a lot more than that. And actually, this continues to be updated, so it will never update, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So you can purchase it through the universities and hospital trusts for institutional prices. Most of that money is going towards actually just funding the app company to host the app. So it's just really that it's out there as an educational source, and it's also all part of my PhD. So you'll get a questionnaire at the beginning when you first purchase it, and a few months later, just to sort of have a look at what you felt about the app and provide some information to help me see whether I've got it right or wrong, or hopefully that I haven't wasted my time. The app has several features, and I'm going to run you through all of those shortly. One of the things that it has on there is that it's got some video guidance, but also tech support. So if you have any problems, there's always somebody on hand to fix that from the app company that hosts it. But I won't talk too much about that because I can actually demonstrate it for you. Finally, let's go to the live demo.
It was really nice. Once Lindsey's brought that up, it was really great to make this app available as part of the webinar series. So I know we've been getting some amazing feedback from people that accessed it. So can't wait to have a little tour.
That's lovely. Okay, so this is the front page that you'll get to. And it's called Textbook in a Pocket because the idea is that you'll always have everything you need to know about NIPE at your fingertips within the workplace. And part of the things that I'll be looking at with my PhD is how people receive or perceive practitioners using tech within the workplace, because often doesn't look professional, but I think maybe things are changing with that. So we have here an introduction to NIPE, and there it's just talking about my PhD and why I introduced the app, but also talking about that it will be changed to for systematic physical examination of the newborn infant in line with local and national evidence-based protocols, which is a bit of a mouthful and doesn't quite go into a short little acronym like NIPE, but we'll see. And there it's just showing you there's a full history of what you would have, everything that you need to know about NIPE. And right at the bottom, there's a video taking you through a full NIPE. That will be replaced shortly with a video on a baby rather than a doll. There are 4 sections: the eyes, the heart, the hips, and the testes, and they all follow exactly the same format, with the purpose of screening, all the clinical risk factors, the opportunity to take an examination and try it yourself. So all of the images and pictures are drawn by students. So there's one of the eye and some information there about the eye. And if you wanted, you could take a test yourself. And at the end of the test, you get a PDF telling you what you've got right and wrong. It's quite useful for lecturers, so students can show that they're engaging. There's always a referral pathway and opportunities to explore some conditions. So Natasha was mentioning about ethnic situation, us missing out on things and not teaching that probably, and with a view to embracing that, we have a big database there of different ethnic minority red reflexes. So you can see here that we have examples of what is a normal reflex here. And this is actually, the colours aren't coming up very well here, but because this is obviously a web page, but it's better on your phone. And we can see those are healthy. There's healthy Caucasian, then there's healthy mixed ethnicity. And the idea is that we actually recognise that they are a different colour, and they are paler, and that actually don't refer babies because they're actually completely normal for them. So we've also got a healthy ethnic Afro-Caribbean, and we have an awful lot of this huge database of images that all come from practice there that you'll see. So there's some other conditions that you might want to look at. We've got aniridia there, very capillary hemangioma, and there's some details about each one of them there. And there's some have more examples than others. Just running through a few there. So this was all part of the iScreen app that I originally put out, but now is incorporated within this app in the full NIPE. Here we have the NIPE standard here, and there's a link to the actual web page, but there's also a written copy of it there. So when that updates, I'll make sure that everything is updated within the app as well. Each of the page has references. If we have a look at the heart, again, purpose of screening, clinical risk factors, and here you can that's all about the examination. Then you might want to try it yourself. So here we have a baby, and if I click on their mitral area, it tells me all about the mitral area, and the heart sound from the mitral area plays as well. Don't know if you can hear that, it's quite quiet. Good. And then posterior, if you just want to listen there. So you might want to take a test yourself, in which case you can think, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure where the mitral area is. Shall I have a go? Is it out there? Oh, no, that's the incorrect position. So there's a little thing, but if I correctly do it, oh, I haven't done it again, there again. So you've got to find the right place, and then you get a green telling you found the right place, and you get the heart sound. It's better on the phone because you're doing it with your finger, but it's all about having, it's just, that's a student focused one, but anyone can happily do that. Here we've got a description of the examination. Again, we've got a referral pathway, an ability and a chance to explore the conditions. Here we've got some audio of a patent ductus arteriosus. Can you hear that? Yeah. It's quite loud when you're playing it for yourself. Here we've got a patent foramen ovale. And then we've got quite a few of this one. So I'll continue to add sounds and heart sounds and other appropriate things as and when I can get them. Here we've got a description of some of the conditions, which again, these lovely drawings done by students, showing the coarctation and the narrowing there. And there's a description of everything. So here, all the different heart conditions, and we'd like to use the sort of written handwriting there just to keep it a bit less formal. And then there's some more details there. And again, we have the NIPE standard references for the hips. Again, purpose of screening, and it's the same thing. Here we have these were really difficult to draw, as you can imagine. This was done by a student. I think they're brilliant. Just showing the Ortolani and Barlow manoeuvres, and at the bottom there's a video of me doing a hip examination on a baby. So I can.
That looks fantastic.
I'm going to examine
Lindsey.
the hips.
Thank you. So there we go. And just finally, very quickly, at the end, we've got some additional information at the request of people, was to add a skin page. So there's just a few things that you might come across, and I think hopefully add some jaundice pictures for Black Afro-Caribbean babies too, so that we start to recognise that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. And that sort of concludes our presentation. So thank you, Sue, for having us.